This is the Sons of UCF, the number one place for UCF sports. With your distinguished host, Adam.
What was your reaction when you got notified that you were going to be a Hall of Famer? How does that sound to you? Coach O'Leary, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm in a number of inducted into a number of Hall of Fame.
And Mike.
I don't know if you know this, but I won the 5K race that we did a couple weeks ago.
Now, here are the guys.
Yes, we are the Sons of UCF. This is the 150th edition of the show. My name is Adam, and as always, my partner in crime for all 150 of these bad boys, my friend and yours, a downtrodden Mr. UCF Mike. Mike, welcome to another week, and welcome to the 150th edition of the show. How the hell have we made it 150 episodes?
I have no idea. And downtrodden is not a good definition. Pissed off is how I would describe myself.
Okay.
A pissed off UCF Mike. 150 episodes in. Technically, it's like 153, right? Because we recorded those first few and we had to do it over again. So we've done more.
And that doesn't. We did a couple of partly sunnies in there. I think we've got a live show. I mean, we're probably inching towards the 2 hundos. Well, which is just asinine that we've got that many shows out there. But it's a large testament to everybody out there who's listened to us, supported us, and given us your ears for all these years. So we owe you all a big thank you off the top of the show. I wish we had better things to talk about on this particular episode, but unfortunately, we do not. We'll get into all that stuff. We have Cow of the Week coming up. We have Mike's Picks coming up. We have Sunday's headlines today. We've got some doozies of some UCF observations, and we'll do our categories as always. But make sure you're doing your part to help us. If you don't mind, follow us on all the social media stuff. Even though it's not working sometimes, like Facebook and Instagram, we're not today. You can find us at Sons of UCF everywhere on those platforms. Also on YouTube, where you can catch our live show that's on Thursdays. And don't forget our website, Mike2nightmedia.com. Mike is on Twitter. An angry follow these days is at UCF Mike1. And Mike, I surmise that you're angry for one reason and one reason only. Saturday, the Knights marched all the way up to Annapolis, and while it wasn't a beautiful game, a pretty game, UCF was in a position to win that thing. And beginning in the fourth quarter, it looked like we were going to pull ahead 30-17, and then we didn't. Knights fall 34-30. Giving Navy their first win of the season. And this just in, Mike, Navy is still running the football on us right now. So I guess I'll start here. What do you want to say about this? I don't even know what question to ask you here.
Just an embarrassing loss. The Louisville game, that was one thing. That's a really hard loss. Back and forth game the whole way against a team that, is a P5 team. You can understand going in there on the road at a night game. We knew that was going to be a difficult one coming into the season, even though I think most of us thought we were going to win that one handily, maybe by 2 scores, double digits. And we saw what happened. This game, never did I even imagine it would be close. This is not a good Navy team, folks. They have not been competitive in their games leading up to this, and just did whatever they wanted to us, running the ball right down our throats. An embarrassing performance. We're up 13 points. Even the way we played, which was not good through the first 3 quarters, still up 13 points in the fourth quarter of this game and losing to a team that doesn't even throw the ball. The whole week leading up to it, I said, look, if we get a lead on these guys, we're up to double digits, we're up 2 scores, we're fine. And we still couldn't close out the deal against Navy. This is a bad one for Gus. It's going to take a while to get this one off the taste out of my mouth from this one.
All week long in our preview last week on the live show, we basically said the same things. You maximize your potentials on offense because you're not going to get the ball that much. Don't make mistakes and play solid run defense, and we should be okay. And it turns out, Mike, we did none of those things because obviously when push came to shove, we could not stop the run. Navy ran for, let me make sure I get this stat correctly, 360 yards on the ground, which I think was their highest total of the season so far, Mike. And even though we forced 2 turnovers, that did not seem to matter. Obviously, we had just a gaggle of miscues all over the place, from jumping off sides to drop passes to special teams disasters to fumbles ourselves, a late turnover. I mean, we just had a gaggle of things that ended up coming back to bite us in the foot, Mike. Not to mention there's some really interesting play calls by Gus down the end there. Really the least of our problems, if I'm to be honest, was Mikey Keene. I actually thought Mikey, if anyone saw this game and blames this on Mikey Keene, I can't help you very much. Although, while he certainly wasn't, Tom Brady leading a Super Bowl charge here, I thought the kid played pretty good, Mike, for his first start. Are there some plays that he could have made better? Yeah, probably, but I think that's true of every college game. So, really, the one thing we were most interested in is how Mikey would play. Turns out that's probably the thing that was the least interesting thing that happened on Saturday.
Yeah, Mikey was fine. He came in, threw a touchdown on his very first play. I think he did a pretty good job. He started off good. He got rid of the ball when he had to, flushed out of the pocket, and there's nobody open. He threw the ball away, didn't take any sacks. I thought he played pretty well, especially for his first time out. But overall, this is a total team loss. The offense sputtering when you needed them in the fourth quarter. The defense was just atrocious, letting these guys go right through us. The special teams, we know the gaps we had on there. And the coaching. We had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And we looked like we had no clue that these guys were just going to run the triple option right down our freaking throats. I'm going to say that all night. It was so hard to watch, man. We couldn't get off the field. They were just having long drive after long drive. Our guys were completely worn out by the end of this game. This is a bad one. I was trying to think of some of the worst teams we've lost to, because we've had some bad losses. Some of the worst teams that we've ever lost to. This team is right up there. Navy is not good. And Furman came to mind. I was trying to think of a few other ones, but I don't know where to go from here.
Time of possession, like you mentioned, was a big issue. Mike, Navy held the ball for 39 minutes, 18 seconds. UCF had the ball only for 20 minutes and 42 seconds, particularly in the first and fourth quarter. I mean, they just ball controlled the hell out of the thing. And you're right, we could not get off the field. We could not get stops when we needed to. It seemed like we were kind of running the same thing over and over again. We had a hard time picking up the pitch man, figuring out where the ball was at, and there were 3 or 4 guys. It wasn't like one running back out of the hot hand. It wouldn't matter who they gave the ball to. It seems like every play they were getting at least 3, 4, 5 yards. What do they average per carry, Mike? They average 4.6 yards per attempt. I mean, so basically they were chunking up 4 yards every time they got the ball. So do the math on that one, and obviously that's the challenge. And we had no answers to stop it. It didn't look like we tried a whole lot different or unique. It looked like they had any lane they wanted, and then ultimately, I mean, they only threw the ball 4 times, and 2 of 4 on the day. And even those, I think there was one that actually hurt us on a good completion as well. It just for the second straight week, it seemed like the opposing coach knew exactly where our weakness was and was basically like, here, go ahead and stop it. And we were powerless to do so. Louisville did the same thing with the Malik Cunningham runs, and Navy was like, here's what we're doing. You guys feel free to stop it if you want to. And again, we had no answers. We had nothing to counter to actually make some of those stops.
This is one of the worst defensive performances I can remember in a long time. I don't know. Is this on T-Will? Is this on the players? Is a combination of both? No adjustments being made throughout this game. It was aside from the first drive where we stopped them, we got the turnover. After that, we couldn't stop them. We forced them to punt 1 time in this game. And they gave us the ball, 2 turnovers that set up 2 touchdowns on 1 play both times. Otherwise, they might have kicked the crap out of us. This game might not even have been close.
Yeah.
They dominated us in every part of this game, which is very scary to think about going forward.
What did you think of Gus's play calling, Mike? I think especially on that last drive, I'm not sure if that's coming up in your game notes here, but that last drive there, we got a hot hand and Gatewood comes in and momentum kind of stalls. What did you think about the overall play calling? Obviously, knowing it's a true freshman, knowing that Mikey was kind of getting his feet wet. What did you make of the way that Gus called the game?
Well, I knew he was going to sprinkle Gatewood in here and there, and it worked. Obviously, when he came in for that 1 play and he scored a touchdown. But I did not like using it there at the end of the game where we're driving down the field. Mikey's moving the ball pretty well on that last drive, and then to mix Gatewood in there and then bring Gatewood in to throw the ball. Like he's gonna trick these guys. Completely stalled out the offense there when we needed it. I was going to get into some of the coaching decisions in my game notes coming up.
Well, let's just do that, Mike, because I feel like we're going to talk around what we really want to talk through, and that's our category. So I don't know there's much more we can break down. 34-30 obviously was the final score. You guys already know that, Mike. But let's do like we normally do. Each of us come up with 3 different areas of the game that we want to talk through. We then assign them a category based upon previous UCF bowl games, either wins, which are the 2 good categories. I don't know if we'll have many of those, and the losses, which are the 2 bad categories. That would be Hawaii and the Boca Bowl. Mike, I'll let you lead off first. What's the first thing that, from a game note standpoint, you want to talk about?
I've got all Boca Bowls this week, 3 Bocas.
Okay.
And we'll start right off with the run defense.
Okay.
We already talked about it. You say 360 yards. We actually got 12 yards back on some of those plays. So they totaled 348 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Let them keep the ball for 39 minutes and 18 seconds. They were 7 for 16 on 3rd downs and 2 for 3 on 4th downs. I believe both of those were on the same drive when they converted 4th downs. They had a 16-play, 75-yard drive that took up 8 minutes and 10 seconds in the first quarter. When they did that, right after we scored the first touchdown, I thought maybe we could be in for a long day. And then that really is what wore us down there at the end of the game. Our defense was exhausted. In the fourth quarter, they had a 9-play drive for 69 yards, 4:06 off the clock. They had a 7-play drive for 45 yards, another 3:15 off the clock. And that drive, they gashed us. They never even attempted a 3rd down on that drive. It was first down, 2nd down, 1st down, 2nd down, 1st down, touchdown. It was not good. And then an 11-play drive, 53 yards to eat up another 5:19 in the fourth quarter. Maybe we can stop them. We had them stopped, ready to kick a field goal, and maybe it was just been a tie game. The Big Cat jumps off sides. 4th and 2 at the 9-yard line, leads to a 1st down, which leads to a touchdown. 24 first downs they got on the ground on us. Just embarrassing. We couldn't get them in 3rd and long. The couple times we did put them in 3rd and long, we stopped them. But we weren't able to do that very often. A team that only attempts 4 passes. We knew it was coming against us all day, and we still couldn't do it. That's demoralizing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It makes you wonder what the game plan was, what they saw as they scouted for the game. Obviously, what Navy does. We heard that Parker Navarro was running sort of the option quarterback in the scout team. I mean, you got to wonder, did T-Will think we were prepared? I mean, were there not adjustments to be made? Were they trying to make subtle adjustments? Or is it simply at some point, Mike, just a battle of wills? Was it just a battle of, their guys wanted it more than our guys? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because schematically it's such an odd offense to run. I get it may take some time to get used to it, but it seemed like we never quite figured out any way to make a dent with anything. I mean, it didn't even seem like we tried to make any changes at all. I didn't see us creeping the corners or the secondary a little closer. It just looked like we were just like, okay, at some point we're gonna make a play here, and at some point that play didn't come, and ultimately that cost us the game. Did you see? Was it noticeable to you of any adjustment on the defensive side?
No, how could it be? Every play they ran, they got 4 yards. There was nothing we could do to stop them. We got a couple of lucky breaks with some turnovers, but other than that, they did whatever they wanted to us. And we knew they weren't going to throw. There was a couple of times where it looked like they were going to throw. One time, the quarterback looked like he was going to throw it, kept it, and ran it in for a touchdown. I don't know, man. I don't know what the heck we were doing on defense. And this is a defense who, after the first 2 games, we talked about how this is a great run defense. Yeah, we held Boise to 28 yards on the ground. We held Bethune-Cookman to nothing on the ground. And now these last 2 games, Louisville and Navy, we can't have no answer for our run defense. Big Cat hasn't done that as much as we thought he was going to. And the rest of this defensive line has been disappointing.
Well, I mean, we should. I don't know if you want to put this in as an excuse or as a reason, Mike, but obviously we had some injuries. Ricky Barber did not play. Tatum Bethune did not play. And Corey Thornton did not play. So we were down 3 starters on defense. Obviously, Thornton being a cornerback is probably not as much of a blow as missing Barber and Bethune, who are essentially the guys in the middle of the defense. In their absence, Bryson Armstrong kind of switched back to his old linebacker days from Kennesaw State, Mike. He actually recorded 22 tackles. Eric Gilliard, who got more playing time, obviously, with running back with a linebacker down, he had 11 tackles overall. But missing a big guy up front. Cam Goode got injured. He was kind of in and out for a couple plays here and there. We just did not have the depth. I said off the top, Mike, of the live show, we had three things to do. We had depth, discipline, and tackling. And I don't think we did any three of those well at all. But I mean, are you giving a pass at all because of the injuries? I mean, some people are saying, hey, let's not forget we're down 3 starters. I know there's injuries, and I know there's things that happen in games. There's reasons and there's excuses. 3 starters down on defense. Is that a reason or is that an excuse?
No, that's an excuse. I'm going to go back to this. Navy is not a good football team. Right? And Armstrong, 22 tackles. They're running the ball straight at him. Yeah, he's going to have 22 tackles. Yes. You have 20 tackles by mistake just for letting guys fall on you. So there's nothing impressive about this defensive performance. And I hate that we even have to talk about it.
All right, well, let's talk about something else then. So let me take my first swing at a Boca category, Mike. And if the defense was maddening, they were on the field a lot, obviously. To me, the even more maddening part was the special teams play. Excuse me. Our special teams play let us down in a few different areas throughout the game. Let me just recap a few of those for those of you who aren't aware. So first off, early in the game, we had a block extra point. And Mike, no one's really talking about that. How big a deal is that block extra point when it comes down to it? Because on that final drive, we're in field goal territory, but we're down 4. So we need a touchdown to win the game. If we make that extra point and we're only down 3, at least we could have kicked a field goal, taken this thing to overtime, and potentially see what happens there. But that mixed that block extra point comes back to really, really bite UCF. And I know we're talking about a lot of different things, but man, oh man, if that's 31-34, that last drive's a whole different ball of wax for UCF. So I feel like we're not talking about that block extra point quite enough. But either way, then we're up 20-10, second quarter. We have a punt blocked. And obviously that's scooped and scored in the end zone. Now it's 24-17. And I don't even know what happened on this one. Like, I saw Mac Loudermilk and Marlon Williams on Twitter basically saying that the left side of the line was too tight, and that perhaps they just felt like that guy on the edge wasn't going to get to the block point. I have no idea. All I know about this, I think it was Dylan Lester, was lined up right across from the guy. Just like, if you just sneeze at him, I feel like you at least give enough time for Osteen to get that play off. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Blocked punt, touchdown, and so there we are. There we are now in potentially 2017. 2010. Now we're down 20. Or now we're up 2017. Obarski, fake field goal that turns into a field goal. I'll get back to that later on. Johnny Richardson that takes a second half kickoff, and I don't know. He came out. He didn't come out. He fumbled. He didn't fumble. I don't. If they had called that the other way, I mean, I would not have been angry about it. Although I think technically speaking, they made the right call. But Johnny's got to have better awareness of where he's at and what he's going to do. That could have been disastrous right off the top. That should have been an omen on where the second half was going to go right off that kickoff. And then obviously we're up 30-20, Mike, maybe a little bit momentum. We get stalled on the drive, and Osteen unleashes a 15-yard booming punt that goes out to the sideline, and obviously Navy gets the ball back, and they score again, Mike. It just seemed like special teams play after special teams play cost us. And again, I get the block punt resulted in points, but that blocked extra point came back to really be a big crucial part of this game because, again, we would have been down 3 instead of 4.
Yeah, and then you got to assume that Obarski's going to hit the field goal to tie it there at the end. Just a comedy of errors on special teams. Last week we broke out the wheel of issues, and you said
we did
punting, and you said, and I said, well, we haven't had anything blocked. They're not giving up any touchdowns. We're fine. I haven't seen them shank anything.
Boom.
And boy, every one of those things happened. I have one blocked for a touchdown, and he shanks one right after that because he's feeling the pressure. Oh man! So it was a non-issue to me last week, and now it's a big issue. And having the extra point block, yeah. I mean, when it happens, that's your first reaction too. Oh, that's going to come back to bite us. But we were still up 13 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It should not have come down to that one point. So, special teams, who we thought was improved over the course of the first few weeks of the season. Now back to the Nick Toth days of just disappointing us.
Yeah, just gaffes on again. They're not on the field all that often, unfortunately, and so the gaffes and the errors that they make seem to stand out even more. And that blocked punt, Mike. There just seems to be no answer. It just seems like we just let a guy off the edge just get right in there, and that was a huge momentum swing. And even after that, we still got the ball back. Obviously, we still scored. We were still up 30-20, and now the shank punt comes. Gus in the presser on Monday said that Osteen was potentially thinking about that still. Maybe it was a little jumpy, a little jittery. Who knows? And obviously, it lands. It lands out of bounds 15 yards later, and Navy takes the ball and scores. Mike, special teams hasn't always been a huge bell cow for UCF, but this was just a disaster, Mike. On the only bright side, we finally saw Daniel Obarski after much theatrics and fanfare, attempt and make a 28-yard field goal. So we have a kick on the board. I think I heard during the telecast we were the only team in the nation not to attempt a field goal throughout the season. So at least we got that stat off our back. And Obarski 1 for 1 on the year, Mike.
Yeah, you wish you could say that he's made every extra point, which he did up until this point when he had the one block. But at least he made it. Give him that. So it was a big kick at the time. Put us up 6 before the half.
It was definitely a big kick. How much of this, Mike? I mean, again, if you want to do excuses, you want to do reasons. One might assume that because the defensive side of the ball was getting very familiar with running a defensive scheme against a system they had not seen a lot. The offensive side of the ball obviously was adjusting to a new quarterback and what they were going to do. A lot of those special teams guys are obviously comprised of players on both sides of the ball. Do you think it's plausible at all because of the focus on defense, the focus on offense, that maybe special teams just did not practice as hard this week because the other two sides of the ball were a bigger priority?
I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not another one of these excuses we got to add to the list. No. Special teams is something that you do every single week. It's a huge part of the game. We joke about it as a third missing phase, but the field position game and punting, that is very important in football. Obviously, as we've seen, it could cost you a game, and it cost us one now. So it better not be a reason why those things happen. Those things happen sometimes, but it can't be because we didn't practice well enough this week.
Well, the bright side, Gus said they're going to get cleaned up. So you should feel good about that, Mike. Gus said it'll be cleaned up. They're going to work on correcting the errors, I think is what he said. So we should have no issues with punt block going forward, Mike. Let's go back to you now for the second game note that you have.
Another Boca Bowl. The coaching. The coaching in this game. We had 2 weeks to prepare for this, and this is the garbage they put out there for us. Gus getting cute. What is he getting so cute with some of these calls? We are the favorite in this game. And this fake field goal crap that he pulled, he's lucky Obarski stepped out of bounds with a second to go because we may not even have been able to attempt that field goal. I don't know what the heck he's thinking. And then bringing Gatewood in on that last drive and bring him in to throw the ball. Again, getting too cute for his own good. We're moving the ball. The drive comes to a screeching halt. All of a sudden, it's 4th and 15. Coming out of the half, where we praised him in the Boise game, coming out of the half with a score. This week, coming out of the half, nothing. 3 and out. 2 passes to Alec Holler. Nothing creative coming out of the half in that drive. We were gifted 2 touchdowns on turnovers. We have all the speed advantages on these guys. And guys like Ryan O'Keefe, non-factor. What did he have? 3 catches for like 13 yards. We got to take advantage of these guys and the matchups that we had, and I don't feel like we did. It looks like we were not prepared for a Navy team that, I'm going to say it again, is not a good team. We were not prepared. Coming out of a bye week, coming off a loss. Sometimes you say coming off a bye week, maybe they come off flat. I understand it. If we were 3-0, it'd be more understandable. But coming off a loss, you should have had 2 weeks of intense practices leading up to this game, and to come out with this crap that we saw on Saturday is unacceptable.
Yeah, if I had to try to describe Gus Malzahn to like an alien who landed on Earth and was watching the game with me and was like, explain this gentleman to me with the visor on. What are we doing here? The only way I could sum it up to would be, it feels like Gus as a play caller is always trying to find the play that's going to trick you, versus just sticking with what's working and sticking with what's going to get, positive yards or what has worked. It feels like whenever there's that momentum, instead of just going, hey, we are running the ball, we're gashing them, let's keep doing that, we go to something cute and something that we think is going to trick them or they're never going to see coming. And the guys on Twitter who do this stuff do a fantastic job. And they always do the breakdown of just saying, see, on this one, if the lineman had only blocked down or if the tight end had only kicked out, this would have been wide open. Well, that's what happens when you run trick plays, is that you need certain things to go right in order for them to work the way you want them to, versus just running a play, running a system, and sticking with what's working, what the defense is giving you. Continue to go to that and continue to make that happen. And it feels like there's too many times where Gus, quote, likes the look and thinks he's got something that he can kind of pull out that's going to catch him off guard. How about catch him off guard running, for 5 yards of carry every time, right? How about catching him off guard by continuing to let Mikey, operate a little quicker out of the gun and make some quick reads and make some quick throws? How about trying that versus always trying to get cute and figure out a way to trick the coach and when you get the look you're looking for, versus just running a system that allows you to actually be productive play after play?
Yeah, that's exactly my point. He gets too cute with some of these things. The fake field goal crap. Did he think Obarski? How many yards out were we?
It would have been 41. It would have been 41 because he was on the 24-yard lines where the ball was snapped at, but he's 17 yards back from that, or at least 10 yards back from that. So it would have been probably at least a 40-yard run somewhere in that ballpark. And
with the time that's left, he is so lucky that he got out of bounds on that play, because there's no way that should have worked. Right? There was no way he was going all the way for a touchdown. And if he doesn't go out of bounds, then we're screwed, and we're going into the half only up 3. And then the whole Gatewood thing. I mean, I understand you're mixing them in. You got a package for them during the game, but this is game-winning drive time, and Mikey Keene is moving the ball. And here he comes again to bring in Gatewood.
But that's another example, Mike. Another example of, even if you want to negate out the fact that he took Keene out when he shouldn't have, right? Let's put that to the side for right now. Gatewood comes in. Everybody who's within, 8,700 miles of that stadium knows he's coming in there on the football, right? But what does Gus do? I bet you they're not going to expect this. Like, I'm going to trick them. They're not going to see this coming. And yes, I saw there was a nice breakdown on Twitter by, I think it was Stephen Olner again, who shows basically Hescox should have blocked the wide man versus the guy closest to him, and there would have been a guy wide open. But again, this happens every time. You need perfect execution. Everybody has to do everything exactly the way it's intended. And sometimes the defense is just better. Sometimes they just give you a look you can't prepare for. And that's why if you brought Gatewood in just to run the thing, well, I would have been like, hey, that's not a smart idea. At least we're sticking to what we do. And that's another example of bringing him in to throw the ball, of Gus just thinking, I'm going to outsmart somebody. And it's almost like he outsmarts himself. And obviously that's cost us now a couple different times throughout the Louisville game and obviously now the Navy game.
Yep. Yeah. And if Gatewood comes in and he runs for 3 yards, at least you're still on the positive side of the ball. Then we follow that up with an Amari Johnson run -5 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's 4th and 15. And that is the one situation you can't be in. I mean, you got to keep this to 3rd and manageable. There's still time on the clock. We weren't in that big of a rush. We were in a good spot on the field. Just relax and do what's working. Do what's working. If anything we should have learned from Navy is just stick with whatever is working. If the other team can't stop you, why are you going to change it up? They were doing it to us. We could have done it straight back to them. We chose not to.
Well, that actually dovetails into my second item. So I'm gonna stay with another Boca category as well, Mike. I'm gonna go passing game in particular, because the last 2 games against Louisville and against Navy, to me it seems like ever since Isaiah Bowser went out, and Gus is doing a very nice job now of making sure that he lets everyone know that Isaiah Bowser is an NFL running back. I don't know if we heard that before his injury, but now he's an NFL running back, which is fine. I actually think he's really good. But I also think there's obviously an element of Gus basically saying, hey, what do you want me to do? I'm down at running back. But it seems like since Bowser went out, our pass game has gotten just really, really kind of strange, really just unpredictable. It just doesn't seem like there's any sort of rhythm on there. Against Navy, we were averaging 6.6 yards per attempt. The longest throw we had in the day was 34 yards. It was screen pass to Johnny Richardson. The ball actually probably went 7 yards, and Johnny took it the other 27. Other than that, we had a 23-yard touchdown strike to Brandon Johnson. But we took really no shots down the field, Mike. Brandon Helwig in UCF Sports in the Dungeon does a great job. He posts the Pro Football Focus breakdown after every game. And while I definitely understand that there are some flaws in the way that Pro Football Focus looks at some of the info, I thought a couple of stats were really interesting. They break down basically the quarterback and their throws. So Mikey Keene throws behind the line of scrimmage up until 9 yards was 10 of 12. throws from 10 yards to 19 yards was 4 or 5. And then 20 plus was basically 0 of 4. So the majority of Mikey Keene's passes went 9 yards or behind the line of scrimmage, and those were the throws he was making. We took no opportunities to go downfield. And you think Navy didn't realize that after a while, that they're just daring us to throw the ball downfield? I mean, they were stacking the box. It looks like they were coming after Mikey hard on a few different plays. And I get that you've got a freshman quarterback making his first start. You want to make some easy, simple plays and easy, simple reads for him. But it felt like we just completely abandoned the ability to throw the ball down the field, anything outside of 5, 6, 7 yards. And again, if we don't complete one of those and we don't have a good run, now we're in third and behind the chains. And it just seemed like we got no rhythm going from a passing standpoint. Interestingly enough, though, I went back to the Louisville game. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel was playing at that point. Here's Dylan Gabriel's stats in the same category. From behind the line of scrimmage to 9 yards against Louisville, he was 16 of 20. From 10 to 19 yards, he was 3 of 4, and 20-plus yards, he was 3 of 4. So this is probably not a shock to a lot of people, but it looks like, at least in the last 2 games, Malzahn's offense has heavily relied on 9 yards and fewer as our pass attempts. Now, I'm not saying that we lit the scoreboard up against Boise, but I felt like we threw the ball downfield a little bit more against Boise. We had some additional chunk plays there. Same thing with Bethune. Again, I know you throw that out if you want to. Even in the spring game, you throw that out. I'm not sure if it's the Bowser injury that's caused Gus to maybe get a little bit more conservative and try to, essentially account for the running game with some of these short passes. I don't know if it was just a lack of experience and trust in Mikey Keene's first start to give him the ability to throw the ball down the field. But, Mike, it seems like we've just got a really predictable, really vanilla passing game, and that just seems so counter to what UCF has been. And I get it's not a Heupel system. I get it's not a Frost system, but it just seems so counter to what UCF has been. And then you mentioned the Keene and Gatewood thing. I do want to point one thing out. On that last drive, Mike, Mikey Keene was 5 for 5 straight completions. He was moving the ball down the field, and then to your point, all of a sudden in trots Joey Gatewood for a throw that ends up getting us behind. And then obviously we throw a ball that Alec Holler probably could have caught, and then before you know it, we're down in the game. So Mikey was finally in a roll, five straight completions, moving the guys down the field, and then we try something different as well. It just seems like we do not have any rhythm right now in the pass game. It seems like we're basically throwing it 2 yards and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think the J-Flash injury kind of hurts that too, taking the deep shots. But where's O'Keefe? He's got to step into that role as the speed guy on the outside. He didn't do anything this game. Brandon Johnson played well, except for the fumble, which was a killer play in this game. Taking the shots deep. I know it's a Heupel thing. We missed. You said you missed Heupel after the first week.
Well, hold on. I'm not even saying deep, Mike. I'm saying from 10 to 19. We took 5 pass attempts from 10 yards to 19 yards. That was it, 5 pass attempts. And at some point, if Navy is going to give you basically and say we're going to blitz and we're going to try to make things interesting, catch them off guard. Do something that they're not expecting with a pass game. Like find a way to dial that up. See what they're giving you and take it. I'm not even suggesting we go back to the Heupel of chuck it 50 yards and hope our guy's faster. I'm just saying let's throw some intermediate stuff. Let's throw something 10, 12, 13 yards across the middle of the field and at least start getting some positive momentum. Doesn't seem like we're even really making an effort to do that stuff these days.
Yeah. You know what? If there is a team that we're faster than, it should be Navy.
It should be, yes.
Those plays probably would have worked. The Heupel offense, unfortunately, probably would have worked well against the Navy defense. And not taking any – you got to, every once in a while, keep them honest.
Yeah.
It's just like you're saying. You see the guys are cheating up knowing that we're not throwing over 20 yards. Then you got to mix it up every once in a while.
Yeah, the longest pass play to a receiver was Brandon Johnson. That was 23 yards on the touchdown. Ryan O'Keefe had 3 catches for 13 yards. Amari Johnson had 2 catches for 10 yards. Outside of that, the leading receiver actually was Alec Holler with 5 for 35. He seems to have now moved into tight end 1. We didn't see a lot of Jake Hescock on the field. Holler, though, had one really bad drop. And then that last ball, Mike, I get it was behind him. I get it was a little early, but gosh almighty, he's got to come down with that. That would have been fantastic. But it seems like we're just basically taking the passing game out of it because Jay Flash isn't here. And I get he's an all-world player. Don't get me wrong. But Ryan O'Keefe's pretty darn good. And we know what Brandon Johnson can do. We haven't seen Titus. He's on a milk carton someplace. Craig Myers was essentially on the field for that Joey Gatewood play, I believe, but he has been largely a non-factor. I feel like we have some guys who are veteran, can turn around and make a catch. Even a guy like O'Keefe, who you mentioned, J Flash is our speedster. I mean, O'Keefe's probably just as fast, if not faster, and we found no way you can. Ryan O'Keefe can't beat a guy from Navy. I mean, come on, we can't get one go route with Ryan O'Keefe, and that's just the whole passing game just feels like it's broken right now. And again, I don't know if it's a Bowser injury. I don't know if it's just a lack of reps by Mikey Keene, but we've got to figure out a way to open the passing game back up.
Yeah, you were questioning the same thing in Louisville. Remember, we were saying we couldn't see what was going on in the secondary because of the way they were shooting it on TV. And you were asking Trace what's going on. And he just said there was no separation out there. I can't imagine that we're not getting past the Navy defense on the outside with the speed that we have. So something is not right. And where is Titus? Is that the injury that nobody knows about? Because
he played. No, he returned a punt, I think, or a kickoff. He played. He had one kickoff return for 37 yards.
So for him to play such a big role in the first game and then kind of not do anything in his last couple games, I got to check how many snaps he was actually out there for. I didn't look at that, but he seemed like he was going to be an impact player for us. And I guess sometimes as a freshman, maybe it was the Josh Seliscar effect, where he had that one big game his first game and then kind of quiet the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case for Titus.
Well, I know for the first game, I think what Titus went in, I think Amari Johnson got dinged up and Titus kind of rotated in behind him. And so I think that's how Titus kind of got in the first game. But you thought he'd improved himself. I mean, he played pretty well. Yeah, he had he took a bad hit on a punt return, but that I wouldn't think it impact his offensive ability to play. But no, he's on the participation report. Again, he had at least a kickoff return. The other we did not see, and I was wondering if we'd see Charlie Browder, the young tight end. Maybe he worked his way into the playing time at this point. I don't know, but we've got to figure out a way to open up the passing game. And we were basically going 3-4 wide the first game, and now we basically have, we're running feels like 2 or 3 routes out there, and I mean, for somebody who's got an offensive background, and that's what we say Gus is. He's got to find the keys to unlock the passing game, because all signs are pointing, Mike, that Isaiah Bowser is not coming back anytime soon. And there's even some rumors that J Flash, I think Mark Daniels mentioned this today on his show, that J Flash may be out for a while too. So if we've got to figure out a way to unlock the offense, particularly if those two guys aren't going to be around for a while, we can't keep putting up offensive performances like these last two.
No. They did start throwing to the tight ends, which we've been asking for. And now we're saying why, because we should be using our speed on the outside, especially in a game like this. So, you want me to go to the third one?
Yeah, why not? What the hell?
Another Boca Bowl?
Why not?
The excuses. I'm sick of the excuses. Whether it's the injuries, or it's a quarterback making his first start, or it's Heupel's recruiting that put us in this situation, or the game was on the road, or the triple option is hard to defend. All I hear is excuse after excuse after excuse. You know how bad this Navy team is? The Marshall Thundering Herd beat them 49-7 to open the season. Air Force held them to 68 total yards. 68! These guys were averaging 10 points a game coming into this game. They scored 17 in the fourth quarter. Good teams do not lose games like this. I'm sorry. They always put up that stat with a Belichick, whatever it is. I don't think he's ever lost a game where he's had the lead in the fourth quarter. And that's talking about like 1-point lead. 13-point lead against a team that does not throw the ball? How do you lose that game? I just, the only conclusion I have is this: we are not a good team. Right now, we are not a good team. We could easily be 1-3 right now, with the only win being against Bethune, if somehow we don't make that comeback against Boise State to open the year. I don't like what I'm seeing. I hate the excuses. There is no excuse to lose this game to Navy. None. And if we can't beat these guys, I don't know. There's no game on this schedule now that I feel comfortable going in and saying that's a win. East Carolina at home. East Carolina is playing a lot better the last few weeks. I think it's going to be a close game. Temple, who I thought was a gimme game early in the year, they're playing better. That's going to be on the road. I don't know if we should win, but I don't know. The Cows are probably going to put some points up on us. Our defense looks terrible. We look lost all over the place. This is not turning out the way I expected this season.
All right. Well, what's the fix, Mike? How do we right where we are now? We have options here at this point. Do we just resign ourselves to say, hey, we all came in with lofty expectations, and reality is now essentially shown us that perhaps we overestimated those expectations. We overestimated a lot of different things, and this is who we are. We are a team that's rebuilding. We are a team that is, going to be competitive, but the aspirations we had of some of the postseason stuff is just simply not going to work out this year. Or do you think there are some things that Gus, players, whomever, can do to turn this thing around quickly and right the ship? Where are you at in terms of the writing it off? It's a rebuilding year. Let's enjoy the ride. Versus, hey, I think we still have a chance to get in this if we only make a couple of minor tweaks here and there.
Well, I mean, in the same token, if the ball doesn't bounce off Amari Johnson's shoulder in Louisville and we get a first down, we could win that game. Mm-hmm. And in this game, I mean, we were right there, too, at the end. We're not getting blown out. Those are games we could have won, should have won, in my opinion. We could easily be 4-0 as opposed to 2-2. I don't know, man. Some of these games, there's going to be a lot closer than what we thought. Some of these games I thought were going to be easy games are not going to be easy. And maybe they can surprise us. Maybe we can turn things around and win a game that nobody's expecting us to win. The Cincinnati game, I don't think anybody expects us to win that game anymore. The SMU game right now, I'd be shocked if we won that one on the road. Maybe things can get turned around. You hate to throw in the towel on the whole season right now. I mean, obviously, we're a long ways from where we want to be, but there's room for it. There's way we can get better. I'm not going to quit on the season.
Yeah.
But man, it's not looking good.
Well, let me ask a better question. This is probably going to be not a popular question, Mike, but maybe the better question we should ask ourselves is, why did we think we were going to be good this year?
I mean, the hype machine. The hype machine got us again. Right. Look, if Heupel's returning for this season, coming off last year, I probably would not have picked. I know I would not have picked us to win every game. Right, the way we ended last year would have been the same coach. But the fact that we got Malzahn came in here, he said all the right things in the offseason. He brought in all these big-time transfers, the big cat and this and that, and the defensive line is the best it's been in forever. And obviously, I mean, we had Dylan Gabriel. We don't have him now, but Dylan is looking great to start the year. And, there's not a team on our schedule that everybody was really scared of. Even Cincinnati, a lot of us thought coming into the year that we were better than them and we were going to beat them. Now, I'm not so sure. Now there's like 4 or 5 teams I'm scared of going forward. So things change in a hurry. Hopefully they can change back going the other direction, and it needs to start this week.
Yeah, I mean, it boils down to what are excuses and what are reasons, right? What are reasons why we aren't playing our best ball? What are reasons we're losing games versus what are excuses, right? The injuries, I mean, I don't know what to do with that, right? It's a thing. It's a real life thing. We're missing basically 3 starters on offense, 3 starters on defense right now. Plus we're missing an RJ Harvey and Jarvis Ware, 2 guys who I think were penciled in to play big roles on both sides of the ball. I mean, the injuries are definitely a big thing. And perhaps the depth just isn't where we thought it was going to be. And maybe that is a part of the factor. And I don't know if that's an excuse. I don't know if that's a reason. But, I mean, I think some of it, Mike, is maybe we need to look in the mirror. And probably you and I are the first and, some of the first culprits of saying maybe we just overestimated that we'd be good. To your point, the hype machine, we're going to be great. We got all these guys coming back. We got Gus Malzahn and not realizing that we were a 6-4 football team the year prior to that and a 10-3 team the year, prior to that too. So maybe some of it's really just fan expectations just getting out of control, which I know we are prone to do here in UCF land.
Yeah. I guess maybe it was this.
We're still feeling, I guess, yeah.
We're still feeling the effects of 2017, where we think we're going to win every game, and 2018 we won every game except for the last one. And the games that we've lost the last couple of years have been all close games, except for the BYU game. But every one of those, we feel like we could have won or should have won. And the same thing with these 2 losses this year. We should have won these 2 games. We're better than Navy. At least I thought we were. I thought we were better than Louisville. I guess maybe we were just wrong.
I mean, Louisville may actually be good, though. I mean, they almost beat Wake Forest, who actually is good. I don't know who's good anymore, Mike. All I know is I think that's the frustrating thing is these were winnable ball games. These were games that, to your point, we are a play away, 2 plays away, one less mistake away, and these are winnable ball games. And the fact that we weren't able to close the deal really just starts to it gives you that Tulsa vibe from last year, right? Which is like, why are we losing to a team that I think we're better than, and we're playing better than, and we're making a lot of mistakes. We're still in this game. And you just want to see these guys be able to figure out a way to get over the hump. And it seems like every week something new pops up. The run defense has been kind of the back-to-back 2-week issue, but now special teams is a problem, right? Now we're not as explosive on offense. So really, can Gus and the staff pull it all together? I mean, Gus took a lot of this on his shoulders in this press conference. He said, I got to get better. I got to get my coaches better. And we'll see if that's coach speak or if something can come of that, Mike, because now is the time. I mean, Gus said after Louisville that he really believes that that's going to be the defining moment of the season, right? I can't wait for our time and see what he said after Navy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. He said a lot of things that he's good at those press conferences, man. When he came in, he says we're going to get the best Gus Malzahn there's ever been, and we all got excited and we believed it. And if this is the best Gus Malzahn, man, then I don't know. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. But hopefully the team can turn it around. I'm not as optimistic about it as I was a couple weeks ago.
All right, let me throw in my last one, Mike. I'm actually going to try to stay positive here. I'm going to go with a liberty. I'm going to give a liberty to Mr. Cam Goode, who you mentioned earlier, Mike. He had 2 forced fumbles that led to 2 UCF touchdowns. Where would we have been without those 2 turnovers? Cam Goode forced the 2 fumbles, also had 8 tackles on the game. He had 1 tackle for a loss, Mike. Again, using the numbers that Brandon Helwig puts together from Pro Football Focus, Cam Goode rated out as the highest player on defense by a lot with a really good grade overall. I know he got dinged up and went out for a few plays and ended up coming back in. It's tough to give a liberty to any of the defensive line guys. I know those guys got run over a ton. But listen, the 2 forced fumbles, I mean, I don't even know where we are without those 2 plays. And if we can figure out a way, and Cam seems like he's sneaky good at that kind of stuff, opportunistically finding ways to create plays and turnovers for the team. So those 2 plays in particular were fantastic. So I'm going to give a little love out. I'll give Cam Goode a liberty because, again, without his turnovers, without his forced fumbles, Mike, this thing could have been way kind of sideways.
Without those 2 plays that lead directly to touchdowns, we may lose this game 40-14. I hate to say it. Those drives keep extending and they stay on the field and we don't get those points. Who knows? They had the ball for 39 minutes. They may have the ball for 45. It's almost scary to think 50 minutes of this game because there was no other way we stopped them. We couldn't stop them on downs. They only punted once. So without those turnovers, this thing is even uglier than it was.
Well, God bless Cam Goode for at least those 2 parts, Mike. All right, that is the sad, angry, I don't even know what word, pissed off, I think were the words you used earlier to describe the game breakdown, Mike. So let's do our best to put this Navy game behind us, kind of, because we're going to take a quick break here, and we come back, we'll at least make some fun of ourselves for losing to Navy in UCF Observations. Plus, we'll give you Sunday's headlines today, UCF and East Carolina this weekend. We'll tell you what's going to happen before it happens. All that is just moments away here on the Sons of UCF.
Okay, Sons of UCF, both of you, you are the father.
All right, let's at least do a little fun with this, Mike. UCF Observations. We watch these games. There's a lot of stuff happening throughout the game. You and I take a lot of notes, a lot of information, a lot of things are crossing our mind. This one was tough because obviously it was a loss, so we had a couple days to reflect on it, Mike, and we've got our observations prepared. As always, my friend, I'm going to let you kick us off. Give me your first observation.
King Kong's first ever play was a touchdown. Right? Start building the statue right now. That's what I'm thinking when I see that happen.
Like, I got to tell you, even Tim Tebow thinks that Mikey Keene has a long throwing motion. We got to get that tightened up. Mikey takes that thing down to like the kneecap and back up and around. He was accurate for sure, but we may need to tighten up that throwing motion.
I got the same thing. I said, Mikey does have a long delivery. I haven't seen a wind-up like that since Hideo Nomo broke onto the scene for the LA Dodgers. What was that, like 92, 93?
Something like that. Wow, you want Hideo Nomo. Can we just clear something up, Mike? I'm really serious on this. Did Gus Malzahn run a fake field goal so he could kick a field goal? Is that what happened? Was that really the plan? Did he think Obarski was? Did he run a fake field goal to kick a field goal?
He had to have thought that Obarski was going to take that thing all the way to the house. That was the plan. There's no way he counted on Obarski with the time that was left to get out of bounds. And he really shouldn't have got out of bounds. He basically got tackled in bounds, but his foot luckily hit outside. I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay.
But doing the King Kong celebration is actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing that. Those touchdowns, pounding the chest. I wish he would start doing it after a touchdown. I'm telling you, I think this is a gold mine for him.
Maybe we should win a game or two first. Special teams and tight end coach Brian Blackman. I sure hope you're renting in Orlando. I wouldn't be buying if I were you. Just make sure you're renting.
Losing to 0-3 Navy. The honeymoon is over. Welcome to the pressure cooker.
Oh, yeah. Pressure cooker time, Mike. I got to tell you, I love the kid as a player, but Johnny Richardson kind of disrespecting the Duke, Mike. Not really holding that ball close. That thing's out there like a loaf of bread. He did a ball fake to the sideline at one point. He's kind of disrespecting the Duke. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, he's going to definitely fumble very soon. Keep doing that crap. Not even watching the Gators lose was making me feel any better. That's how bad this one was.
Mike, on the bright side, I looked this up. Nobody in the Big 12 runs the triple option, so we should be good.
Yeah, hopefully. That Urban Meyer, he's always coaching this guy.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I saw him teaching a young lady how to take a snap from center.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, Mike. I was actually doing some scouting as well. It looked like Urban Meyer may have called a sneak play, Mike. I think he called the sneak on that one.
Oh boy, what he's doing out in public doing that stuff. I guess he doesn't care.
Get more to come.
The best part about doing these shows is meeting people who enjoy listening to these shows. I met a couple other people this weekend at the watch party. Michelle and Jeff, big-time fans. I met a guy on the cruise last week, Mike. I think we're like minor celebrities now.
That's not good for anybody. Mike, speaking of Urban Meyer, he got back into coaching. I think people were concerned. Obviously, he'd stepped away a few times for some health reasons. I think there was some talk about, was he all in on this kind of thing? I don't know, Mike. But after watching this weekend, I really think he's committed to grinding it out.
Oh, boy. The worst part about doing these shows is doing one after a loss. And I really was not looking forward to doing this episode tonight. Did not want to do it. But it got me thinking 5 things I was looking forward to more than doing this show tonight.
All right, here we go.
Number 5, dinner with the in-laws.
Oh, never good. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
I would have looked forward to that more than doing this one. Going to the dentist. Number 4.
Yeah.
Looking like a nice root canal. That would have felt better than recording this one tonight. Number 3, the next pandemic.
Oh, jeez. Wow. That escalated. I heard. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what number 2 is. Oh, my goodness. All right.
Number 2, I'm more looking forward to my daughter starting to date.
Oh, we're not ready for that. No, that's not happening around here. No, we're not ready for that.
Better than doing this show.
My daughter tried to tell, she kept hinting around. Homecoming is coming up, and she keeps talking about this dance. And so I said to my wife, I'm like, does she think she's going to this thing? And she was like, yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, we should really talk about this. It hasn't been brought up yet, Mike. I'm not ready for it myself.
You better brace yourself.
I'm not bracing anything. Nothing's being braced.
I mean, homecoming doesn't mean she's going with a date. She may just go with a group of friends. You went to homecoming dances, didn't you?
I did.
All right. And one thing that I was looking for, the number one thing that I'm looking forward to more than recording this episode tonight.
What's that?
A prostate exam.
Oh,
oh.
You are 40. It's coming up, isn't
it? That's right. So those 5 things I would have preferred than what we're doing right now.
All right. Well, I did learn one thing during the game, Mike. Two words here. Daniel Obarski, athlete. You saw that little shoulder, or whatever. You saw that shoulder shimmy shake he threw on that defender that was nowhere near him, didn't you? I mean, Obarski I don't know if Gus doesn't have the balls to give me the Quadri Jones, Daniel Obarski option play out of the backfield, then he's not the guy for us.
I think it was Mario that already put into the mailbag. Should Gus be questioned because our leading rusher or yards per carry only got the ball one time?
Yeah, that's fair.
Obarski.
That's fair.
Oh man, yeah. That little shimmy though, that's what bought him that extra little step to get out of bounds when we needed it. So.
Yeah.
Yankees, Red Sox, one game for all the marbles. Mañana on my birthday. It's either gonna be a very good birthday or the worst of all birthdays. I'm excited for this one.
Mike, I got a funny feeling that UCF ticket resales are about to become a buyer's market, my friend.
You would think, but I looked. I was actually, because I'm going up to the game this weekend, and I know you are too. I got my 4 tickets, but now my cousin, a different cousin that came to the first game.
How many cousins we got? Jesus.
Mike's
top 5 cousins. Here we go.
Top 5 cousins. Yeah. He may be joining us this weekend because we're doing the Halloween Horror Nights thing on Sunday night. So if he is, he's going to come to the game with us. And I was looking up prices for the tickets, and they're not that cheap. There's not that. I guess because it's family weekend. There's limited numbers available. Maybe later in the season they'll start becoming a little cheaper, a little more available. But right now for this game, not that big of a bargain.
All right, fair enough, Mike. I don't know what to say of that. Then maybe I'll figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually did line somebody up in the dungeon that's giving me a decent price.
There you go.
But StubHub and Ticketmaster is not where it's at. I'm basically out of observations, so you got some more top 5 lists for me?
I got plenty for right, here we go. A quick update, Mike, on a story that we talked about earlier. Urban Meyer was just flagged for illegal use of hands, unfortunately, which Mike got me thinking, what are your top 5?
Was he targeting? I think he was targeting.
What are your top 5 referee signals of all time? Because the illegal use of hands, they got to put like that hand up in your face. So I'm like, here are my top 5 referee signals during a game. Are you ready for my top 5? Here we go.
Yes.
First top 5. Number 5, the loss of down. That's the one where the hands go behind the back of the head. I feel like if you do a thrust there, that becomes more interesting too. So my first is the loss of down, hands behind the head. Number 4, give me the safety. Everyone loves a good safety dance. You got the praying hands above your head. It scores a couple points. So give me the safety, obviously, as a good one. I just like the safety dance there.
I like the safety. They should do that thing like with the Egyptians, that move where you stick your head in and out of there. That would make it a cool move.
Yeah. Number 3, Mike, give me the horse collar. I like the horse collar because it's like the thing where they like look at they're grabbing and they're kind of pulling back away from your neck. You don't see a lot of horse collar tackles. I always find the horse collar signal funny. So number 3 is the horse collar penalty. I find that funny. Number 2, Mike, everyone loves a good chop block. They got to go low between the legs. Both legs got to come down at the same time. It's kind of like a squat, but not. But you got to have the arms at the right length. You got to get a little bend at the waist too. There's a good motion. If you don't do a good chop block signal correctly, it could really hurt you down the road. So the chop block, my number 2 referee signal. Number 1, are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Reset the play clock. I love when we reset the play clock because it's just that one arm just pump it up in the air, and you can't do it like once or twice. You got to do it like 19 times. That's the only way you actually get the play clock reset. One time doesn't work.
Play what? You
just got to keep pumping that thing, Mike. You got to keep pumping it. Yeah, that's how you do it. You can't just do 1 or 2. You got to do like 19. That's the number 1 referee signal is the play clock. Oh, it's clock with an L. Clock.
Yeah, you were pumping something.
Something got pumped up. Top 5 ref signals. And speaking of which, Urban, by the way, take my advice. Sign Tim Tebow right now. It'll all go away if you just sign Tim Tebow.
I went against Jacksonville in the Survivor pool last week. I don't know how I don't go out. You go take Tennessee this week. There's no way Tennessee, just losing to the Jets, is going to go and lose to Jacksonville now 2 weeks in a row. And this whole mess going on with Urban. I think that's where I'm leaning for this week.
You might want. I mean, again, if he's smart, he signs Tim Tebow right now. That's damage control. You move the story away. That's just. Remember how Stugotz used to do the sports whisperer? I feel like that's what we need for Urban Meyer. Hey, Urban, call up Tim Tebow. Tell him you need him there tomorrow. And it'll be a national story. You'll be fine.
Yeah, Tebow has saved them so many other times. I mean, That's probably his only move at this point.
Yeah, he might need a wingman too. Either way, Mike, those are UCF observations. At least we can have a little bit of fun in our misery with Navy, Mike. And now we turn our sights to the East Carolina Pirates, who are coming to the Bounce House on Saturday, 6 p.m., Mike. ECU has had an interesting season so far. They are 2-3 on the year. Lost the first two to App State, South Carolina, although that South Carolina game was close. Then they reeled off 3 straight with the wins against Marshall, Charleston Southern, and Tulane. Both Marshall and Charleston Southern were close games. Tulane, who I think we all thought might be good, got blown out 52-29. They're 1-4 in the year, so maybe they're not as good as we thought they were, Mike. There's a couple of guys in ECU that we need to be a little bit concerned about. Holt Naylor's still there. He's got 7 TD passes on the year, but 5 INTs. They have a guy named Keaton Mitchell, running back, Mike. He's averaging 9.6 yards a carry and 4 touchdowns. He might be somebody we have to worry about. And on defense, Jaquan McMillan has 4 interceptions on the year already. One of those returned for a touchdown. So definitely looks like an opportunistic defense, a speedy running back. ECU, while being 2-3, I think they're maybe a little bit better than their record indicates. Or again, they're coming in on a 3-game win streak, Mike. That's what we're facing when the Pirates come to town. So let me, with all that info, let me get your first headline. So these are Sunday's headlines today. Mike, tell me what's going to happen before it happens.
Third time's alarm. Panic sets in as Knights lose third straight.
Oh, no. Wow. I didn't see this coming.
No, you didn't. And I got to tell you, the other two are not getting any better.
Yeah, so I was kind of ambiguous with my headlines because I wasn't sure if I was going to go for a win or a loss here. So my first one is Pirates run to treasure. ECU rushing game baffles the Knights. Because here's the deal. If they've got a guy averaging 9.6 yards a carry, I mean, and he had a 60-something yard touchdown run against Tulane. He's got some speed on the outside. He's also got 14 catches on the year. I feel like this guy's just going to eat our lunch, and it's dinner time, so we don't even know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I'm still having nightmares of Chris Johnson running all over us in 2007. Yes, hopefully it's not a repeat of that.
Yeah.
Indefensible. Pirates rack up 500 total yards on porous UCF defense.
Man.
Our defense sucks, by the way. Let's put it that way.
500 yards.
Well, I mean, Navy put up almost 400, and they didn't even throw the ball. Wait until you see what the Nailers and these guys do.
Oh, boy. Okay. My next one's kind of ambiguous. Purple people beaters. Knights defensive line finally gets pressure on quarterback. That's all I got. Yeah. I'm not saying it's good pressure. I'm not saying it's a winning pressure. I'm just saying it's pressure.
Yeah. Not even promising a sack in there.
No, just pressure.
By the way, Seliskar got another one. He's the only guy with the sack on this team.
He's the sack machine right now.
Yeah, boy. Maybe he gets some more playing time than this guy.
Yeah.
R. Another L. Wheels off Gus Bus as season spirals towards disaster.
Was that, how'd you spell R? Was that ARRGH? Was that just the letter R? Or how was the spelling on that?
Well, I had it written down as ARR.
Okay.
No, I left the GH off.
All right. That's fine. I can.
Then it's ARG.
I can capture. Okay. Argus. All right. I can help you there. My last one. Capture the flag. Late penalty call gives Knights a boost. That's all I got. I'm not saying it's a good penalty. I'm not saying if we're winning or losing. I just feel like at some point we'll have a penalty here in this game, and it's going to help somebody.
So we are saying that these guys are going to run all over us. The defense sucks. We may get some pressure on them, and we're going to depend on a penalty to somehow pull this one out if we are to win.
Maybe.
Man. Things have changed around here quickly from just a couple weeks ago after beating Boise, joining the Big 12. I didn't think things were going to get any better. And now, I don't know, man. This sucks.
Well, fun fact, this was in the notes that UCF sends out. This will be the 20th meeting, I believe, between ECU and UCF. And ECU actually leads this series 10-9. So maybe that'll be motivation. Right. Maybe all these young guys who have no idea about ECU and want to get revenge and even the series. Mike, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I hope so. We have won the last 5 games in this series. And they really had a stranglehold on it. It was 10-4. They were beating us in this thing. So we've inched back closer. Now a chance to tie. Let's hope so. But if you listen to my headlines, I'm not optimistic about it.
Hey, Urban, do yourself a favor. Call AC Green. He might be able to help you out if Tebow's busy.
Yeah, or call Paper and Lace. My sister's wedding invitation.
Does she do another kind of announcement, like a separation situation? Because maybe Urban needs that. I don't know, Mike.
Yeah, she can do that. She can send divorce notices. Anything.
Okay, fair enough.
Paperandlaceboutique.com, my sister's wedding invitation company. She'll make you the most beautiful wedding invitations you can ever imagine. Not only that, but also all the other things that come along with it. The save the dates, the vow books, menus. You sit there, you get to a wedding and you see what's on the menu. That's on there. She makes those. The place cards, the thank you cards, everything. You can make an appointment with her. Give her a call, 954-597-6426. Schedule your appointment, and let her know you heard it here from Sons of UCF. You get 10% off your first order.
You're going to want to do that. Paper and Lace Boutique. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic goods. And again, friend of the show, take care of the people who help take care of us. Coming up, Mike, we were going to go to your picks. And then we'll do some Cow of the Week stuff. All that's coming up next. And by the way, I'm pretty sure I said play clock. I meant to say play clock. Sons of UCF.
Maybe you did. Maybe I just heard it wrong.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is UCF head football coach Gus Malzahn, and you should listen to the Sons of UCF like your hair is on fire. Go Knights and charge on.
Every week, like I tell you, if they play them, Mike's going to pick them. We have Mike's picks coming up. We'll also update the pool tracker where we are picking games against some of you all for some wonderful prizes, including what's turning into be a limited edition Sons of UCF hat and a very cool Citronaut hoodie that was donated by our good friend Chet when we saw him during the Boise tailgate. Mike, we'll update those standings as well. But first off, last week I saw a lot of interesting results. I'm afraid to look at the information. How did you do, first of all, and then where's the pool tracker leaning these days?
All right, I rebounded here on my show with the picks.
Okay.
Last week, 3-0. Ding, 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 ding. 3-0 on the show picks last week. I had Temple against Memphis. Temple was 11-point underdogs. I had them covering. They won outright. I had SMU over the Cows. I believe they were giving up about 20 points. They won that one easily. And I had Cincinnati giving up 2.5 to Notre Dame. They won that, by 11 points, something like that. So 3-0 on my show picks last week. Can't get any better than that. In the pool tracker, remember I told you on the live show that I switched my other picks?
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have done that. I should have stuck with my original picks. I would have gone 6-1. Instead, I went 4-3, bringing my record to 25-27 overall. Still hanging around in there, and top 20 of people that are playing. I think I'm like number 16. You still doing well. Ooh. Number 2 overall, wow. 29-23.
Wow.
I think you had the same record, maybe 4-3 this week. You're 4 games up on me. Trace, he's spiraling worse than our own UCF defense. He's 22-30 now. So I've even taken a 3-game lead on him. He's 7 behind you. He's 8 behind the leader, Nightwalker, who maintains his lead, 30-22 on the year. Still a long way to go. For the season here on the show, I've upped my record to 6-8-1. So creeping back towards 500 and creeping back towards 500 in the pool tracker. I got 3 picks this week. I hit them all again. I'll be over 500. Crank up the music. Let's get it going.
Keep it moving.
Number 1, Temple, getting 29.5 points at Cincinnati. The Bearcats coming off their biggest win in school history, beating Notre Dame 24-13. Just an overall very solid performance from Cincinnati last week. Temple, though, back-to-back wins from these guys. Mm-hmm. Maybe something brewing. They beat Memphis outright, 34-31.
Mm-hmm.
You know what kind of game this is for Cincinnati, right?
Trap game?
It's a classic. It would be a trap game. It would have been a trap game, look-ahead game.
Letdown game.
UCF was, if UCF was any good, it would have been a trap. You're right. It is a letdown game.
Here we go.
Letdown game coming off that big win at Notre Dame. They're at home. They can still win this game by 4 touchdowns and not cover the spread. These teams did not play each other last year. But the year before that, 2019, Cincinnati only beat Temple 15-13. And then the 4 meetings before that, Temple beat them. Temple has their number. Temple plays them tough. Maybe Temple is to Cincinnati what Tulsa is to UCF. In 2018, Temple beat them 24-17. In 2017, Temple beat them 35-24. In 2016, Temple beat them 34-13. And in 2015, they beat them 34-26. This is not a good matchup for Cincinnati. And like I said, they can still win this game by 4 touchdowns, not cover the spread. Give me Temple. That is way too many points, 29.5. I'll take those. I'll take the Owls. They're looking a lot better than I thought they were.
How many? What's the spread again? Sorry, 29.5.
29.5.
Man, oh man, 29.5. Yeah. It's a Friday night game too, right? So. If Cincinnati does get up on them early, maybe they rest some guys towards the end there. Obviously trying to get healthy. I don't know if they're even scared of UCF anymore. Maybe we just think they're scared of us, but maybe they're like, who? But 29 in the hook feels like a lot. I do feel like a letdown possibility is here, although this is the highest ranked Cincinnati's been. Temple's sneaky better this year. The Fighting Rod Carries are pulling it together. I'm going to agree with you. I think 29.5 is probably a little bit too much. I can see them winning, by 3 touchdowns, but to your point, that's still not covering the spread. So I will roll with Temple on this one as well for you.
Yeah, if Temple can manage to score, 2 touchdowns, that puts a lot of burden on Cincinnati to run up the score. I don't know. Cincinnati has impressed me. I gotta say, they've been very good. They've answered every test so far this year. So, would I be surprised if they won this game by 5 touchdowns? Not really.
Is Notre Dame good though? I think we're it's an impressive. Notre Dame played 3 quarterbacks throughout that game. Jack Cohn threw one of the worst passes I've ever seen. I'm not saying Cincinnati's not good, but I think, are we overvaluing them because we think Notre Dame was good? Notre Dame was lost to Florida State. I mean, maybe Notre Dame isn't what we thought Notre Dame really was,
Yeah, no, I don't think Notre Dame's that good. But it's still a game on the road.
It is.
The game against Indiana, they were down big. They could have crumbled there, and they turned it on strong in the second half.
Yeah, they did.
So I'm going to give them credit. I'll see what they do, but I don't think they're going to win this one by 30. Give me Temple.
I'm just betting. All right, go ahead.
Game number 2, SMU minus 14 at Navy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Tanner Mordecai and the Mustangs are rolling right now. They're averaging over 42 points per game. I know Navy ran all over UCF last week. They controlled the clock. I don't know if they're going to do that again. The Mustangs are going to go in there and do what we should have done. Go up there and get it up on them early, be up big. Last year, SMU won this game 51-37. I see them winning big again this week. Give me something like 48-20. I think the Mustangs go in and take care of business, something that we should have done. Like I've been saying all episode, Navy is not a good football team. Navy may win 2-3. If they win more than 3 games, I'll be surprised. And one of them was against us. So give me SMU. Give me SMU to cover. I'll give up the 14 points. Navy sucks.
SMU finally ranked this week. I think they're 24, if I saw that correct in a poll someplace. They appear right now to be on the collision course with Cincinnati for the championship game, barring any disasters along the way. I really want to say Navy, maybe this is the springboard they needed. They finally found their quarterback in this Tai Lavatava guy, and maybe they finally got their stuff together. The linebacker, Fago, seemed like a pretty good player. He's from Fort Lauderdale, by the way, which is interesting. I didn't look up where he went to high school. So part of me thinks, is this the thing that turns Navy around? Maybe this is what helps them get there. But I got to think SMU can win this thing. I mean, Mike, at some point we were up 30-17, right? We were up basically 14 points. And if we could have not had any turnovers and penalties, we put that thing away ourselves. And I'm going to think SMU is probably a little bit more together than we are right now. So I'm going to agree with you again on this one. I will roll the points. Give me SMU.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They're going to do exactly what we should have done, what we were on our way to doing, and could not finish the deal. Which leads me to game number 3. East Carolina getting 10 points at UCF. A UCF defense that cannot stop a nosebleed, going up against an East Carolina offense that has been pretty good in the last 3 weeks. They scored 52 points against Tulane. They beat Marshall, who, by the way, thumped Navy to start the year, like I mentioned, 49-7.
You mentioned, yes.
The UCF injuries, we know all about them. No Isaiah Bowser, doesn't seem like for another week. Doesn't look like Jay Flash is going to be back this week. Now, what we thought was an advantage, there was no tape on Mikey Keene. Now there is tape on Mikey Keene. So East Carolina's got something to study up this week. I think this is a close game. I think this is whoever has the ball last type of game. You know, no lead is safe, as we saw this week. So we could go up 14 points, 15 points, and I don't trust the defense to keep it that way. So I think this is a 34-31 game. Hopefully we escape with the win. But 10 points to me is too much for UCF to be giving up to anybody right now. So give me East Carolina to cover with the 10 points.
Well, you're right. We haven't won a game by greater than if you throw out, I guess, Bethune, right? Every other game we played against an FCS team or FBS team, has been pretty close. ECU seems pretty competent. Is it 10 even, Mike, or is it 10.5?
No, I got it at 10. I mean, I guess it depends on where you're going. I don't know what the pool tracker has it at. But I've been using the same site every time I do my picks. I get it from Vegas Insider. I can check the pool tracker.
Yeah, I don't care. 10 even is what gets me. If there was a hook on either side of this, I'd feel differently about it. 10 even, because I could see this being a 37-27 game, right? You know, UCF's up a field goal. We throw a late touchdown in there, one of those kind of deals. But, man, I feel like the guy who, I swear to God, my girlfriend's not going to cheat on me again. This time she promised me she was going to – Gus said he was going to clean up special teams. He told me he was going to clean up special teams. He's got to know that we can't run a jet sweep every 5 plays. If this is going to be the week, it's different. But so far, just it hasn't really been that. So I am going to begrudgingly – I never bet against UCF. That's usually one of my rules in the pool tracker. I'm going to begrudgingly give you the sweep here. I will agree with you again. Maybe we win by 9, but I don't think it's 10. So I'm going to go ECU should take the 10 points.
Yeah. Last week, I actually picked Navy in the pool tracker, and that was one of the ones I switched to UCF, and it cost me there. I didn't think we were going to win by... Well, last week it was, 15.5? It seemed like a lot of points, especially the way we've been playing. 10 points seems like a lot against an East Carolina team that looks like they can score some points, and we don't look like we can stop many people. So if they're going to score 30, we're going to have to score 40-plus with the freshman quarterback making his first start at home. I don't trust us to do that.
Quick update, Mike. Diego Fago went to Calvary Christian down there in Fort Lauderdale.
All right. It's not far from where I'm at right now.
Just FYI. All right, those are the picks. We're probably going to be wrong in all of them. I have no idea if we know anything about football, but either way, the games we played, and we will watch them all, Mike. We will actually be at the East Carolina game, so we can drown our sorrows together as who knows what'll happen. But maybe we're cow of the week for thinking that we're going to rebound. Maybe we're cow of the week for thinking that we were going to beat Navy. Maybe the whole team's cow of the week. I haven't decided where I'm going yet. I know Mike sure hasn't decided yet. So you're going to want to stick around to figure out what we come up with here on Cow of the Week. This is coming up next for you. We are the Sons of UCF.
This is UCF Athletic Director Terry Mohajri, and in my spare time, when I'm not on TikTok, I'm listening to Adam and Mike on the Sons of UCF. Go Knights and charge on!
All right, Cow of the Week. This is an unprecedented Cow of the Week, Mike. I don't know if we've ever done this before. We talked long and hard about this. We've thought a lot about it. Thoughts and prayers, of course, T&P. And we've decided after a lot of soul searching, Mike, that Cow of the Week can really only go in one direction, and not the band, Mike. That direction's us. You take that thumb of yours, buddy. You point it right back at you. Cow of the Week, me and you. We have I think we're at fault here. We are to blame. We have been jinxing the team, and now it's come back to bite us. And now there's evidence out there, Mike. I will start with my own admission. Midway through the game, after a spectacular couple of plays, just a solid effort by Brandon Johnson, I tweeted out that he was really, really, really solid, and he was such a great asset to have, and he still is, by the way, still a fantastic receiver. I think he's going to do great things for UCF. And then he proceeds to fumble. And while certainly he was trying to make a play, and it wasn't like a situation where it was something completely egregious, I think he was stretching. Diego Fagot made just a fantastic defensive play. Ball comes out. Obviously, that's a big game changer. So I jinxed Brandon Johnson by calling him steady, and he still very well may be. But I jinxed him for that stuff.
Yeah, and the Louisville game. Remember, I told you guys I wore the cursed Mackenzie Milton jersey that cursed us. So I tried my best to wear something different this game. I actually wore my Hawaiian shirt, the UCF one. I've never worn it during UCF games, so I had no history with it. That didn't turn out to work, so wasn't that. But I did say last week that the punt game was not an issue, right? I hadn't had one blocked, and here we go. Probably the biggest play of this game, having the punt blocked for a touchdown. From 20-10 to 20-17, really giving Navy life back into this game before the half. That's my fault. I'm sorry. Not the guys that were supposed to be blocking. That's all on me. And, I'm trying my best this week to reverse that. And I'm picking against UCF in the picks with -10. You heard the headlines I had. Hopefully, I'll be Cal of the Week next week for being Mr. Negative this week, and we come away with a big win. But this one's on me right now too. So both of us are to blame for this loss. I guess, right? thumbs pointing in that direction. I actually said in the live show that give Obarski his credit. He'd been doing well, and then obviously we got a field goal or extra point blocked, although probably not his fault overall. So I potentially put the jinx on him there as well. Yeah, it turns out we may be the problem here, and that's unfortunate, Mike. I will say I was surprised. UCF Mike broke a hard, fast UCF Mike rule. I don't know if you trying to break the jinx already. Post-game UCF Mike is typically a guy, especially after a loss, who just goes into the cocoon, grabs a couple of Pacificos, some highlight IPAs, and just kind of keeps to himself. But post game UCF Mike was on Twitter at UCF Mike 1, and he was rattling sabers. You were out there just spitting truth bombs, Mike. You were out there yelling, screaming, throwing the curse words around. Were you already beginning to try to reverse that jinx right then and there by breaking that cardinal rule of yours? No, I was just angry as hell. Okay. And anybody that was going to listen to me was going to hear what I had to say. Okay. Yeah, I mean, even after our game, we left the watch party, we walked across the street to this other place, had something to eat, and watched the end of the Gator game. I was still fuming over there. And I don't even know exactly when I sent those tweets out. I think it must have been after I got home. Yeah. A couple more beers afterwards. I was not feeling good. Held back the next day because I had some more things to say, but I figured I'd hold it for this pod here. Okay. And it was not a fun night. No, it was definitely not a fun night. Other Cal of the Week options, Mike, obviously. Rodney Harrison had somebody hold an umbrella for him. I thought that was cool. And Lane Kiffin said, get your popcorn ready, and then went out and got dusted. So I guess it could be worse for UCF, Mike. But ECU on Saturday, 6 o'clock. As mentioned previously, again, both of us will be in attendance again for this one. No tailgate this time around. Apologies for that. I think we're both kind of running in late there. The families are with us. Not a lot of time to set this thing up. This was a last-minute sort of throw-together trip, Mike. But we will be back on premises. We'll be up in the cabana. We'll be bouncing around a little bit, maybe before the game. Try to meet up with a few people out there. So if you're at the game, let us know where you're at. Maybe we'll try to stop by and say hello, or you can do the same, Mike. But what's your excitement level getting into the Bounce House again against ECU being a 2-2 football team? Man, I was very excited. Last week when we were planning this trip, I had already counted on the Navy game being a win, and I was figuring we come into this game, we win another big one, and it would lead into a huge game against Cincinnati the following week. But the loss on this past Saturday has kind of tempered that enthusiasm a little bit. it was still fun to get back on campus. Like you said, bringing the family up there. We usually do that maybe once a year. My kids haven't been up there. Actually, last year we didn't go at all. So the last time they went to a game was the Cal game. And maybe there was a good luck charm because they've been to 2 UCF games in the stadium, and we've won both of them. In 2017, we beat Memphis in that game, 40-6 early on in the year. We beat them up, and then the Cal game in 2019 they went to. So maybe there are good luck charms that we need for this game. If they go to this one and we lose, then I'm all out of ideas. I don't know how to help this team.
If I can help out, neither of my kids have ever seen UCF take a loss in the bounce house.
There you go.
Now, only Addison has been in the stadium. Aiden did not actually go in the stadium last time. But he's never seen a loss. Now, we've seen 2 losses outside of the bounce house, but they have never seen a loss inside the bounce house. So maybe, just maybe, the mini sons and daughters of UCF are really what we need here.
Well, wait a minute. Aiden's been to 2 games, right?
Outside of the bounce house, yes.
Yeah, and we lost both of them?
That's correct.
All right, so if we're losing at halftime, I may...
He's got to go home, okay.
I have to send your kid back.
He might be okay with that, actually. He might be okay with that. Addison is 1-2, so obviously the Boise game, she stuck it out to the end with us. So she is 1-2 on her UCF game career. I'm excited about this, Mike. This is an odd parenting little quirk. She's bringing a friend with her because her friend is interested in learning more about UCF. Maybe thinks she wants to go to school there. Likes football. Wants to see the stadium. Wants to go to a game. So I'm thinking maybe I'm starting to get the influences working in my favor to maybe get a UCF student down the road here, Mike. I think I'm making some inroads.
Yeah, let's see. She's got to go have a good time. That's key there. If we go there and it's a crappy game and we lose, they may start looking at other schools. So, you know what we need is a nice weather delay. We haven't had one of those. The first 2 games we had weather delays. We got the victory. I'm willing to sit it out for another extra hour or whatever if it means us winning the game.
Wow. What a nice gesture on your part. Yeah, I mean, maybe that can work out. I did see, I think, let me look up the weather here really quickly this weekend. I thought I saw initially that there were some things in the way here. Let's get a daily forecast here, Mike. Next 10 days here, Saturday. Well, it's partly cloudy.
What we got temperature-wise? Does it start cooling down?
Well, I mean, daytime we got 85 daytime, and but obviously it's going to go down to about 71 at night. So I'm not sure when that is, Mike. The humidity is 90%, though. You can get out of here with that. Get right the hell out of here. In the night, which I assume is when they're calling the 6 p.m. window, 33% chance of rain.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a weather delay to me.
Now, speaking of
71 degrees, I can get with that.
Speaking of, have you heard this before? I heard this someplace. One of my coworkers told me this. When you're looking at the weather and it says 30% chance of rain by the chance, I always assumed that meant that of the probability of 100%, there's a 30% chance, so 3 in 10 chance that it's going to rain during the time it says it's going to rain. But actually, allegedly, what it really means is that 30% of the area is going to see rain. So not that a 30% chance that it might rain, that of the area that weather service is talking about, Orlando, allegedly, that 30% of Orlando will see rain sometime on Saturday night. Do you know that to be true? Which of these is correct? Do you know?
So you're saying it's actually, when it says 30%, that really means 100% it's going to rain, just whether it's going to be over 30% of the land?
Yes. I think I just said that, yes.
I don't know if I believe that. Who told you that?
I had a coworker.
Call, what's his name? Eric
Burris? You know what? That's a good call.
Get him on the phone.
That's a good call. I think I still have his number. I think Mike Gola changed his number, though, just FYI. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Did you try to call Gola?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what I do in my spare time. It's none of your business. Yeah, see, I'm looking at this website right here. It says a 30% chance of rain mean 100% confidence that only 30% of the forecast area is going to get rain. I don't know.
No, they're not that accurate. So So you're telling me, they measure out the city and say, okay, 32% of the city is going to get rain?
They go to a lot of schooling. They're weathermen.
No. And then when it doesn't rain at all, they were completely wrong. Because he said 32%, but nobody got rained on.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, I mean,
just because you didn't get rained on doesn't mean that nobody got rained on.
Yeah, nobody in that city.
I know you're worldwide, but I mean, the whole city. It's hard to. I don't know. Well, hopefully the weather is good. 71 as a temperature would be fantastic. By the way, that would be ideal. Are you guys getting up there early? What time is the UCF Mike going to be matriculating around campus?
Probably won't be getting onto campus till close to like 5 o'clock. That's another reason I wouldn't mind an hour delay. Give me extra time on campus to do stuff. But no, we have a softball game here at 9 a.m. By the time it's over, it's like 10:30. By the time we get home, get everybody showered, ready to go. We may hit the road by 12. We stop, have lunch or whatever. We can't check into our hotel till 4 anyway. We're bringing the dog with us.
Oh, the dog.
Get him settled into the new place. So by the time, it's going to be 4:30 by the time we get out of there, take the Uber or whatever we're doing to get over to campus, which is about a half hour from the hotel. We're looking at around 5:30, straight to the game.
Okay.
No time to mess around.
All right, so Mike will be there maybe before kickoff. Again, we'll be near Cabana, or in the Cabana, rather. So if you want to stop by, if you're in that area and say hello, I'd love to meet and say hello to a few of you. We will try to be bouncing around throughout the entire game. But it's been a tough one. Episode 150, I thought it would be a better opportunity to celebrate the 150th edition of the Sons of UCF Mike. Turns out we were dead wrong. Thanks for nothing, UCF Knights. But maybe episode 151 will be the streak that brings us back to the good side. Either way, Thursday night, I guess we're still going to do a live show with Trace. I don't know who we're ECU, I guess. We'll preview ECU, talk about how they're going to run all over us, have a guest or two on. Maybe we can break down special. I don't know what we're going to do. Trace, if you're listening to this, hopefully you've got something prepared, because I think you're hearing the level of enthusiasm Mike and I are bringing to the show on Thursday night. So hopefully you got something prepared. Either way, if you're listening to this, you're going to want to listen to that as well. That's Thursday night, 8 p.m., Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and twonightsmedia.com. Well, all we can do is do what we can do, Mike.
Yeah. Let's see. It's only up. Well, I guess that's not true. We can still keep going down from here.
Yes.
But hopefully not. Hopefully we get a win this week. Get back in the win column. We'll be at 3-2 for the season, and who knows about the rest of the year.
But listen, if you're a fan, you've been here before. We've all been here before. 2016 was up and down. Obviously, a couple winless seasons in there. 2011 was a rough one. 2008 was a rough one, Mike. So we've been here before as fans. So if you've been around for a while, we've been here before. We keep our heads up. We keep supporting the team. And keep making sure you're downloading the podcast. If you want to give us a 5-star review for all the agony we've caused you tonight, we'd appreciate that as well. But again, don't forget us on Thursday for the live show. And obviously, we will see all of you, maybe some of you, maybe a lot of you, who knows, on Saturday at Orlando for the bounce house for the UCF Knights and East Carolina. And Mike, until then, I'm going to stop talking. Go Knights.
All right. Try.